in the council thing, so go ahead. Does he want it? Does he? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me get set up, sis. Okay, I'll call you later. Okay, bye.
I don't know what happened on 603, but they had like moss towing, cleaning up something on the ground. Please come in. Yeah, I didn't know. Riso is at volleyball, and somewhere I was going to go talk to Caitlin today at Plus Prison office, and I said I'll go do this. Yes. Oh, Martha from the Sun. How are y'all doing?
I remember you from last time.
Let's say. No, she goes. So you know. Do you cover Biloxi at all, ever? Like, who covers the Biloxi City Council? Oh, okay. Because it's been a shit show over there. Like Gulfport has been had its fair share, but like Biloxi's right with them. Yeah. With a lobbyist, and then apparently everybody hates the Case Brothers. The ones that they always give city contracts for like work, but none of their stuff's on time. Like they had Pass Road coming up for a town in the rain. Apparently there's a bowl of water in there because somebody hit a fire hydrant. And apparently like that was on a construction line. But no, I in Hancock County, so I don't watch the news as close. I enjoy watching Biloxi. Man, let me tell you, I can't take a cruise like Caitlin, but I was
No, she's sick.
oh, so Hancock was
Probably so.
Hancock was out Friday, and then the whole week was out. So I thought she was gonna be back, and then apparently she's fine. So I'm here. I mean, likewise.
Nice to see you in a shirt,
I mean,
like
A real shirt.
yeah, like a real,
A civilian
like a
shirt.
grown-up shirt.
I know. I mean, I got holes in my shoes. You know.
Oh,
Christmas
Lord.
can't come soon enough.
Was that? Are you waiting for your pay raise?
No, I mean,
No,
no,
honey.
no. I mean, it's part of
Okay.
being the baby of the family.
It's been a Monday.
To do stuff for me.
Yeah, I know. I've already been here once
You
today.
guys, you
Have you?
want water? You want water?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I do.
So how many of your, what do you have coming up there?
You okay?
I am. Just been rough at work, and then
Like just crazy.
just
busy?
crazy,
Because
yeah.
everybody's off today, probably. People are off.
Mm-hmm. And usually those days, a lot of people think that we're off because of that, but it didn't work that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Workshop. Okay, it's on here. I find this very odd that nobody's here.
I don't even know why we're.
Jordan, you want water?
What? There's nothing on that, huh?
Jordan, you want water?
I didn't even bring
yeah,
my
I'll take one,
computer.
please.
I figured it wasn't gonna be. I mean, there's no notes on our.
So we
On
do
ours.
whatever and decide, I guess, and go from there. What do we do? Do we actually decide on stuff?
It's a
No
workshop.
action can be taken.
No.
Yes.
We're just talking.
More so, we're just talking, finding out what we want to do with the building.
Okay.
Kind of be a good time to talk about it as a whole, I think.
Like whenever I
The bottom as well. But
39.
Alice knows he's here if we got any questions for him. Since it's,
Are they going to be here?
I believe
I
Dr.
think Dennis and
Dennis
Lonnie.
and
Okay.
I got my work. I didn't even get a chance to get my computer. Y'all don't. Y'all don't tell my work, I'm using my work computer here.
Well, I didn't have time to run it. Kaylee met my daughter, what happened to be at the house, and said, please run me my
I
stuff.
went
I didn't
from-
know if we needed it
I
or
went
not.
from, how many things I got pulled out for the budget?
Okay. There's your pen that I'm lending you. I'm gonna charge you the rent. Here, mama. Mamacita.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Public Wi-Fi.
They used to have a little.
Hey,
I
Kyle.
gotta use my hotspot.
Okay.
If I connect.
I didn't
Doing
even bring
good,
my
how are you?
computer.
I didn't either.
Somebody took my chair because this is.
Oh, yeah, Mike was having an issue with that this morning.
Mm.
Yeah.
What kind? Grease?
Musical chairs and the broken one.
Well, you know, the last one gets a rotten egg, right? Last one gets the broken chair.
I actually got switched with Josh. I was wondering why I had arms.
Well, I can't give this one to Josh.
Josh has the one with no arms.
Jordan usually has them.
Yeah, I usually
Oh,
have.
Jordan? You want this one, Jordan?
Well, I don't want it, but I feel like
Oh, y'all choose to have some with no arms. Some of these have one arm and
I,
they're like.
I started to leave mine on too.
I know Josh switched with me, so I think he has
Yeah.
a preference for chair with arms.
This one leans to the front. I already can't. I'm already short and then
These can be adjusted in the back.
That's for your,
This
for
can?
good posture.
I think so. Like,
Oh, that might be it. Oh, I think that was the one.
Well, that was productive. You're such a gentleman. And
We're just
that's
missing
sweet.
wherever the arm.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole lot better.
Number on it.
There used to be an arm, but it just was kinda dangling.
Two of them up there, 2 feet.
Well, it's got the bracket. This is just missing the armrest itself. That's the bracket. I'll probably take this bracket off. Let's see. No, it's fine.
Does that one have arms?
I'm sure it's a fairly easy fix.
We definitely have versatility of it.
I might have to break my work tools and connect to this public Wi-Fi.
This is yours.
I guess I'm gonna have to do it.
this will explain it.
Y'all know the Wi-Fi password?
Mhm.
You know the Wi-Fi password? Jeremy, what's the Wi-Fi password?
He'll find out
Please send a little sign up.
that.
Maybe in one of the
This right here. Oh. I have documents for all that.
I think BSL's capitalized at chamber.
Couldn't have just did like at 1, 2, 3?
Josh said he's gonna be a little bit late. He's on his way.
I haven't heard anything from Ms. Falba.
Oh, she may have made a comment that she couldn't be here
I
last
think
week.
so.
Oh, that's right, she's on,
Yeah.
like, service or something, dude? Yes.
Something, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and call it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the October 13th, 2025 City Council Meeting Workshop to order. As, would you like to lead us in invocation?
Sure. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Gracious God, we ask that you continue to guide us as stewards of the resources that we are charged to honorably support, protect, and care for, and help us to remain diligent in our decision-making. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started with the discussion. We're here tonight for a potential lease for the Alice Mosley Museum on the second floor of the Bay St. Louis Train Depot. Just so everyone knows, this is a workshop, so no action will be taken tonight. This is just a discussion amongst the council about what we would like to do for that building, and we also have Mr. Lonnie Falgo with Alice Mosley here tonight. If we have any questions for them, if you have anything you'd like to present us, if you want to start off with that, or we'll jump. Yeah. Perfect.
My name's Lonnie Falco. I'm the registered agent of Alice Mosley Museum Foundation. On behalf of Dr. Dennis Smith Jr. and his wife Julie, Dr. Smith was in town all week and he had planned to make this meeting. But unfortunately, as a doctor, he was called back to St. Augustine. But I just wanted to let y'all know he wished he could be here, but we're looking to move forward. And I, as a registered agent and a member of the foundation, I'll be able to answer any questions. Any contract that y'all put in place will be signed by Dr. Smith.
Thank you. Well, I guess I'll kick off some discussion. I think we're in a different position that we were in when we first started talking about this. Now with tourism no longer in the building, the whole top floor is now available. Personally, as far as with the depot, I'd either see it happening, I'd like to see it happen one of two ways, either whole building taken or whole floor taken, instead of having a potential for 4 people, 2 on each side, 1 on each side of the building on each floor. So I know Alice Mosley was interested in the whole top floor. Is that still something that would y'all still be interested in the top floor? Council would like. Yeah. No, you're fine.
We're not interested at all in anything operating the bottom floor of the museum. There's been some conversation. The board actually met and they voted. I am not a voting member anymore, I'm retired. They voted to not entertain anything as far as the downstairs tourism bureau. We did offer some money to operate it for y'all to try to keep it open from doing a cruise in the coast. That didn't come to pass, but it was just a gesture to try to help out because of tourism and in cruising, but we're not interested in bottom floor.
Sure. Well, I think as personally, I'm only one person, but I'd like to either see it one or two ways: the entire building go, or the top floor go with one person and the bottom floor go with one person. Before we jumped into discussion, just wanted to make sure that that was a possibility. With that being said, does anyone else would still like to split it up? What would y'all like to see for the depot? Just kind of curious to hear some input.
I'd like to see like you said, either the top floor be one entity in the bottom floor one, or if, I think it's a stretch to have the whole building be
Right.
rented,
That's
but,
a lot of floor space.
yeah. And, you know, I am a big proponent that it remain, a visitor cultural center, historic, nonprofit.
And what-
And just a question is, and what was proposed a couple months back on Mackenzie, just, Lonnie, does that remain the same proposal that's gonna be put forth?
We have a contract at McKenzie. Well, the board actually formalized it. McKenzie, when she was employed by the board, actually presented y'all, and I understand from Dr. Smith that that still stands.
Now, that lease proposal, I believe, was for 2,000, I don't have it all, I think it was a little over 2,000 square foot. The top floor of that building is 4,016 square foot. So what square footage was being left off in that proposal?
Well, the storage area would, basically what we measured would, what would be called usable museum space, and that's usually what they do. Doing usable space for a service industry. Remember, we're not a business, we're a service industry, and what we do is we provide a service. So what was actually measured, there's what we've always called, even back in the day, that if you come off the elevator, that's not a usable area, that's just an entrance. Then it's also what's known as a common area, which is where sofas and stuff that's been there since as long as I can remember. And then there's also a little bitty, small conference room that's up there. If I remember it, I think it's like 10 by 10. We've never used it. Ms. Myrna always used it as a private conference room. I believe some of y'all have been there. What it is now is we have it decorated, we have it nice and neat. Only thing we have in there is a coffee pot. So that's how we determine the area. And then Ms. Myrna, and I'm referring back to tourism, obviously, the museum we are in, I think it's 1,300 something square feet, and the actual office area where we would display something, there is a large, tremendous, pretty big walk-in storage closet from one end to the other. I think it's like 12 by 20, which is nothing but storage. They've utilized that for tourism, and then in the back of that area in the corner, there's I didn't even know this until about 5 years ago, there's a kitchen back there.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I was curious about that, because I knew and that's kind of why getting away from two people being up there and just having one, when you now have one entity going to be or occupying that whole space, you lose the common area between the two. So I think in that proposal, we would have to increase the square footage. I believe there's bathrooms upstairs.
yes.
To include the bathrooms, that would, I'd like whoever occupies it to maintain that to where we don't have to send Public Works or anyone to maintain the building. So that's something, I think when we look at that, we need to reevaluate the square footage that was proposed.
I mean, I totally concur with you on that, and I agree with you. And again, referring back to Mr. Smith's visit this week, we did the same thing, George. And if we would come to a lease agreement, it would be the whole floor. I mean, if we're gonna use it, we're gonna use the storage closet. If we're gonna use it, we're gonna use the bath. So I totally concur. If it has to go with the total square footage upstairs, then I'd like to be the total. Because remember one thing, we insure that now.
Yeah.
It's funny you brought that up, because in our insurance policy we've been carrying since 2008, we have to insure the top floor
Anyhow.
because we use the elevator and also the stairwell. So I concur with you.
Yeah, because I have the floor plan as well, and I can send that over so you get an
Please.
idea of what it is.
Yeah.
But I believe
We
came
measured
out-
it the other day. We had John Anderson. John is kind of our guru, helping us with design and stuff, moving out of fault. And yeah, whatever the total square footage is, that has to be incorporated in the lease. We'd be glad to look at it.
Yeah, I guess the one thing we figure out is the elevator, who would be responsible for that, but that'll be up for discussion there. But I know the bathrooms would definitely be on,
We've been maintaining that for years anyhow. We pay a service to come in and clean that whole top floor. We've been doing that. Ms. Myrna and I have shared that, and since Ms. Myrna's gone, we've been taking care of the the cleaning, the mop, janitorial service. We pay them monthly.
Now with that, you know, I'm not sure what the, you know, total comes out to with it, but I looked at the financials from Alice Mosley, and one of my concerns is, with the P&L, it was, I mean, it's under $50,000, and I think at the end of after everything was spent, I think it was like 1,200, and some change was left over. So with that, I worry about being able to afford the whole top floor before moving forward. If something goes out and not able to repair it, and we're sitting in a spot 2 years from now, and since you can't repair it, we gotta ask you to leave. You know, I don't want to run into that situation, so I want to make sure that y'all are going to be financially stable enough to maintain it. So, and I noticed on the, let me pull it up, on the P&L, they had a big contribution from the foundation of the $23,000. So with that, I guess without, you know, sales revenue was 24, but without the contribution from the foundation, really wouldn't be able to operate, which is the purpose of a foundation. So personally, I'd like to request going forward, maybe for the foundation's financials, to make sure that y'all have a good footing and can support a 4-year lease at whatever we agree to.
Hey, Mr. Lonnie, I have a question. Which foundation is this?
Alice Latimer Mosley Museum Foundation. It's a 501c3 PF, private foundation.
Yes, sir.
It is owned, governed by Dr. Dennis Smith Jr., his wife Julie Smith,
Yes, sir.
his daughter Morgan Smith.
Okay.
How does the money go into the foundation?
Request.
Is it,
The foundation,
uh-huh,
Mr. Smith contributes
okay,
money as we need it.
yeah,
I can answer your question very easily. You go back, and first of all, museums never make money, never, and that includes includes us. I'll give you an example. In 2021, 22, 23, when we had COVID, Dr. Smith kept that museum. He paid everybody's salary. He does now, still pay salary. We very seldom get any in-kind donation of any magnitude. We get 1,000 here, 200 here. 97% of the grants that we get are pass-through grants. We have gotten an absorbent amount of grants over here, but those are passed, which means we get it, we have to use it, we have to spend it and put it back in the community. There's only one grant we get right now, and we've gotten this for the last 9 years. The Mississippi Arts Commission gives us $7,500 a year operating. The
Is it-
salaries and everything we do now, it's from the gracious Dr. Smith, and he also has Dennis, Julie, and Morgan Smith Foundation. He owns 3 or 4.
why isn't that, listed in your income category?
What is that?
The grant,
the grant.
Mississippi
grant's on
Arts
that.
Well, because
Commission.
it's a pass-through. It's not income. It's a pass-through. We get a grant, I'll give you for instance, we get a grant from Mississippi Heritage, Wildlife and Fisheries, $10,000 to do a art project.
I believe on a 990, you have to record, donations as well.
Yeah,
I'm
We
not-
do, donation, not the grant.
Or grants are included in that as well, pretty
Yeah.
sure.
They are.
Well, they all we have done, yeah.
Yeah, don't quote me on, I'm pretty sure grants have to be,
Well, we have a
Reported
service
on
that does 990. We don't do them ourselves. We contribute everything. One of the ones who have helped us over the years, Mr. Rigby, has advised. We have a company, I think it's called Blake Bright, or Bright Brothers, that handles our 990s every year. So that'll be a question I'll be glad to answer. But we will always saying if it's a income-based to use operation or the museum operate, we would claim that donation plus in-kind contribution. If it's a grant that we use to do festivals or stuff like this, then we would go. We didn't have to.
Well,
It's a
Mr.
great
Lonnie,
question.
well, but then you justify that through your expenses. So I think it should still be listed.
Well, it's always a separate thing, Nancy, to be quite honest with you. I'll give you an example. When we do something with Pacific Arts Commission, we get a grant and we fill it out accordingly. They give us a form, we have P&L of the exact event we do, like that drum event we did. They gave us $10,000. We have to spend every penny of $10,000. We can't keep, there's none of the grants we have applied, but we were able to keep.
Let me ask you about Mopar.
Okay?
I see there's a listing here for expenses.
Mhm.
Where, is there any income from Mopar that, because, I mean, it's obviously affiliated with Alice Mosley.
Mhm.
You use her name to,
Mhm.
for the invitation, and you have it listed in your P&L here.
Mhm.
Do you do 50/50s? Do you get sponsorships, food, drink? What is?
On Mopar database, this fee, and I can report this, this is the first year we have to pay money. We always just relied on our co-partner, which is a group called, it's a nonprofit out of Louisiana, called Big Easy Mopar. They actually put the show. We do this to be a derivative to help them come to Bay St. Louis as a function, as an event. Anything that we underwritten over the last few years, we always end up losing over $500-600 until we start taking expenses. I'll give you an example. Champion Dodge was our sponsor for 5 years running. Now they would pay Joan Compressor. And Country Police would come in and they would donate the sauce, stuff like that, to Big Easy Mopar to pay for the food that they give away. The stuff we pay for the city, like $500 for the
Grounds.
security, I believe you call it.
Mhm.
That's paid, that's a donation from Dr. Smith. He gives to the museum, and we pay the city the $200 for the stage. He also paid for it.
Mr. Lonnie, the Alice Latimer Mosley Museum Foundation, there have been no 990 PFs filed under that foundation. And it was issued 3/1 of 20 from the IRS and state. And the IRS revocation came out in July 15th of 23 under the EIN 84-4937227. So I don't see how the Alice Latimer Mausoleum Foundation could be donating any money to the museum when it's lost its IRS status and no 990 PFs have been filed.
You saying Alice Latimer Mosley Museum Foundation?
Yes, sir.
I'm not aware. We have an attorney that represented us that filed that. We formed that in, I believe, 2020, on 2019, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And we have an attorney that was David Crane, who represented us into the Tim Mosley estate filing, which we battled for 27 months. You're telling me something I'm not aware of. And we also have a company that does Mr. Smith's Foundation. That
Right.
foundation has nothing to do with the museum.
And this cease and desist order from the notice of intent to revoke registration and administratively dissolve Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation.
That is correct.
Okay, and that was issued by Michael Watson
Mm-hmm.
on the 23rd day of June of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So-
That's correct.
Okay, so my question there is, if the Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation was dissolved, where does that fit into your income as far as the museum is concerned?
It doesn't. Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation has absolutely nothing to do with Alice Mosley Museum.
Okay,
Okay?
and neither does the Friends of the Museum.
No, that's correct. If I may, the foundation has nothing to do with operation of the museum. If we're gonna get into the foundation, what Mr. Smith does, or what Judge Bergeron does, or what I need to bring David Crane here. David Crane's been our attorney for 3 years. When Tim Mosley, passed away, Mr. Mosley had Friends of Alice Mosley. He incorporated himself, not to our knowledge. I believe if you can look further, Mr. Smith, you're gonna find that has nothing to do with the museum. These were fictitious
There was one created by Tim, and then 3 months later, you created another one.
That's correct, by the court order. That was done by court order, that we need to abolish Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation, because, once again, David Crane and Shannon Ozerden is our attorney. In this case, they were hired when Mr. Mosley died. We found numerous foundations. We found numerous, unauthorized, entities. And, I'm not gonna cross over there because we have an attorney, but this has nothing to do with Alice Mosley. You're absolutely right, Smith. I don't know about the revocation of Alice Latimer Mosley, that's a surprise. But I will tell you, we fought a 27-month court battle to dissolve Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We also, the foundation that Mr. Smith is in charge of, there was also houses that he owned and that he fictitiously wrote quitclaim deeds. You can go to the courthouse and check everything I'm saying. He wrote quitclaim deeds that were erroneous. And we have spent 27 months and a lot of Dr. Smith's money through his own private foundation correcting these battles. So I'm gonna agree with you. Everything you just stated is absolutely correct, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Alice Mosley.
Okay, and so, if you would, what year did this occur? Do you recall?
We've been battling this, I think, since 2019 when Mr. Mosley died. I think we're still in court as we speak. That's why I have to be very careful what I'm saying here, because we're still represented by counsel. When I say we, meaning the foundation, Mr. Smith, his family, and Mr. Crane and Ms. Ozerden.
Yes, sir. On the website, since you brought it up, I have found Alice Mosley Folk Art and Antique Museum, Alice Latimer Mosley Museum Foundation, and warranty deeds and quitclaim deeds in almost excess of 100 warranty deeds. And I'm dumbfounded that these properties that were owned by the museum,
They were not owned by the museum, Mr. Smith.
oh, according to your bylaws, they are. And Tim Mosley left those properties and their income to support the museum, according to your bylaws. So,
Mr. President, I'm gonna not discuss this foundation because we're in litigation. If you want me, you would like to speak.
well, if you're in
what-
if you're in litigation, Mr. Lonnie, why would you even consider?
Because this has nothing to do with the museum's operation.
Well,
The
but
museum's
you
operation is
stated it.
self-sustaining.
But you stated that's where your income comes from. It makes you insolvent. I'm just looking at the facts.
No, Mr. Smith, you're on a witch hunt.
No,
Let
no,
me,
sir.
let me do this, Mr. If you want to set a schedule with the city attorney, yourself, and I'll have Mr. Crane, Ms. Ozerden there discuss the operation of Mr. Smith and his attorneys with the foundation. I will stand before everyone in here, and I've been doing this for 20 years. When we need money, we ask our board of directors, who y'all have a list, for donation. This is where we receive our funding. This is where we receive our money. If we do a function, if we do something in the museum, it's there. We're in good standing, Mr. Smith, since 2004, when we started filing 9. What he just stated to me about the Alice Latimer Mosley Foundation, that's Mr. Smith and his attorney. It has nothing to do with Alice Mosley Museum. This museum is run by people like myself and other people that work for us as a self-service attraction. I'll give you an example. When we need something, whether it's a copy machine, we write an appeal to Mr. Smith, his board, the Crawchecks, who live right across the street from the mayor. They have a home here, and we ask for a donation. If you look at this, you will see people like Mike, Joan, Catherine Merritt, Julie Smith, and Dennis Smith. These are all descendants of Alice Mosley. This is who is encompassing keeping this museum alive for the last.
Well, I appreciate that information, Mr. Falco. We also have several properties that were owned by the museum.
That's
107
not accurate,
Carlos.
Mr. Smith.
905 Spanish Acres, 351 Keller, lots 486 and 487 First Ward, 511 Spanish Acres, and all of these properties have been sold. So my question is, where did all of the income from those properties go?
Foundation. Foundation. First of all, I disagree.
Which one again? I mean,
No, I'm not gonna get into that, Mr. President. I cannot get into Mr. Smith's business. It's
So-
not right for me to get into this. I'll answer Mr. Smith any way he wants in this debate. It's very simple what I'm gonna say. Mr. Moses, and please, if he's gonna do his homework, he needs to go to the courthouse and look at the judgment that we have worked on for 27 months. Mr. Moses left. You see, Mr. Smith is not giving the full thing. I will. Mr. Mosley, when he died, there was 4 wills in his house when I found him. 4. Okay. If you look at it, one of the wills were made out to someone we still haven't been able to find. Come to find out, Tim Mosley was married. We have another will that was made out to another individual that I can't state his name, who lives in Minnesota. There's another will that was made out, and I'll put this on record, he was giving everything to Tina Fowler. Then there's another will, which this is what needs to be researched. If you could do your due diligence, he left his will and made executrix a lady by the name of Dana Taylor. He left her everything. And along with it, he left 5 warranty deeds for houses. He wrote quitclaim deeds on his own. He actually signed the quitclaim deed, went down to the courthouse and filed them all. And he left them all to Dana Taylor. Dana Taylor thought she was walking away with 5 houses. And Mr. Smith is alluding to, thinking, I just inherited 5 houses. So I will say this, very cautious. If you're gonna do your homework, go do it, because we've had this 27-month battle, which cost the Smith family over $43,000 legal fees that they paid. Because what's wanted to happen here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Mr. Mosley was one of a kind. And Mr. Mosley had a habit of doing things he should have done. The Smith family, the Krawcheck family has been joined together for the last 27 months to correct this wrong. To correct this for one purpose and one purpose only, Mr. Smith, was that all the people that Mr. Mosley erroneously in the court will back up what I said, because we have judgment. If we're gonna do your homework, do your homework. We have judgment.
Ms. Lonnie, may I ask you, in the bylaws that were submitted to us, Article 1, Section 3, at the very bottom, I'll read it. It says, "The 3 vacation rentals donated to the museum by Tim Mosley will continue to be managed by the museum's executive director, with all rental income after expenses going to the Alice Mosley Folk Art and Antique Museum."
I totally concur with you on that, but Mr. Bradford, let me also say, if you want Mr. Smith or Ms. Oserman, I can give you 5, 6, 7, 5 laws. I can go to my home right now and give you a folder this thick where Tim Mosley made bylaws for everybody you can imagine. He made bylaws for Friends of Alice Mosley. He made bylaws for Alice and Tim Mosley. Here's one Mr. Smith did homework on. He has a Alice and Latimer Mosley Foundation, which is his mom and dad, that he left everything to his mom and dad. Well, how are you gonna leave everything to your mom and dad if your mom and dad preceded you in death, and there's also a checking account sitting over across the street that's got money in it that can't be touched? Ladies and gentlemen, this has nothing to do with Alice Mosley Museum. This is why when Mr. Smith would do his homework, I'll tell you also, when we discovered before his death, his idiosyncrasy, these fake documents, you know, if we're gonna start getting into legalities, I'll be glad to meet the city attorney. We can have Tim Keller sit here also. The previous gentleman will stand here. Well, he won't stand here because he didn't have to. He's the one that alerted us to all of this nonsense. ladies and gentlemen.
But Mr. Lonnie, practically all of these quitclaim deeds and warranty deeds were signed by you and your wife.
They bogus,
Some of them
Mr.
were,
Smith.
some of them were you giving the property to your wife to give to the museum.
Mr. Smith,
And switching
that
it from the foundation to the museum.
I'm not gonna let you do this.
But sir, I have the I have the receipts.
Your documents are not, you never did your homework, Mr. Smith, because you
Well,
need
the
to go
clerk
get
of
the
court-
judgment. You
The
need to go
county
get the
clerk of
judgment.
court, it came directly from them, sir.
I think,
Do y'all see what's going on here?
I think there's really needs to be some clarification, because the bylaws that were submitted to us,
Mm-hmm.
they state that they had 3 vacation rentals
Yes.
donated to it, so.
They did. Nobody's questioning what he's saying.
Yeah,
What I'm
but-
questioning is saying is, this has nothing to do with the operation of this museum. Mr. Smith and his family, his foundation, and his net worth is what has kept this museum going. The project, which is Alice's last survivor, is the people that sends us money when we need it to keep Alice Mosley going. Whether it's furniture, whether it's a copy machine, whether we need to go buy paintings or anything else. The foundation that Mr. Smith alluded to is not intertwined, and there's no way you're gonna say it is, because it's not, it's intertwined. We have spent, again, $43,000 the last 27 months, actually cleaning this up for these type of allocations. Did we have to? No, we did not. But the reason why the Smith has went on this journey is to correct the wrong. Because the Smiths deal was, these are all fake. We proved it in court that they're fake. Wise Carter was the opposing law firm that represented Mr. Taylor. And they withdrew.
Mr. Lonnie,
Again, do your homework. They withdrew all these claims, these quitclaim deeds, they've all been withdrawn.
Oh, Mr. Line, one of the, I'm sorry, did you have something?
yes, sir, I did. In 2023 and 2024 especially, the Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation, which was dissolved,
That's correct, on a court order.
right, sold 3 properties on 9/6/23, and 4/29/24, and 9/30/24. So how could a non-existent Alice and Tim Mosley Foundation sell property?
I'm not gonna answer that on advice of counsel because it was handled by a law firm in conjunction with Wise Carter. It was done legally, it was done right. I'm not gonna answer that question because yes, they were sold. Yes, they were done legitimately. Yes, they're in the courthouse and anyone can speak with Mr. Crane, Ms. Oserden, or the Wise Carter, who was the representing counsel.
Well, that's wonderful. Where did the income go? Where did the money go, Mr. Lonnie?
I'm not gonna answer that on advice of counsel. That's the Smith's money. I don't have a right to answer.
So Mr. Smith has the money?
Mr. Smith is the head foundation, Alice Mosley Foundation, which Mr. Smith is the controlling partner
Okay,
of Alice Ladder Mosley Foundation.
good. So we do need those financial records.
So I'll put that on there as a request
Yes, please.
from it. One of the things, I guess, whenever, I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't mean to.
I was just, so, as far as in reference to, back to the lease,
Thank you. Lou.
it's the
Thank you.
Alice Mosley Museum, and what would be the direct foundation that would it, in connection?
We don't have a direct, when we need money, we petition them just like we do when we put out for a grant, whether we send you something as for a donation, or anyone that donates, we'll ask anyone if you could help us. They determine what they contribute. That's what any foundation, you, that make a difference if it's the arts, if it's
No,
the-
I was thinking there was, one foundation, I guess I could say, in layman's terms, that would be the feeder.
Oh,
for
sure,
your-
and I totally concur
That's
with
the
you,
Alice
yes.
Latimer.
Yeah, this is, we formed Alice Latimer Mosley Museum, Linda, at the advice of a judge to eliminate the fictitious things that were found. We were ordered by court to dissolve Alice Tim Mosley Foundation
all
by a
the
judge. Okay, so we had to spend 27 months dissolving all of this bureaucracy of nonsense to get this foundation and to secure firm ground and get all of these legal things. Because without going any further, we had individuals from all over coming out Tim Mosley, and they attached Alice Tim Mosley this So the foundation has nothing to do whatsoever with Alice Mosley Museum's operation. When we need money, we ask for it. When we need to need money, we do a fundraiser. When we need to go places, we do. We have never, ever intermingled this as a parent museum. It's Alice Latimer Mosley has stood alone since 2004, 3 months after she died, and we've been in good graces with the state, with
So-
990.
So, Mr. Lonnie, so you say whenever you need a donation or need money, y'all run a fundraiser? The found-
Somewhat.
The foundation runs the fundraiser, or Alice Mosley?
Alice Mosley always does that stuff alone, just like, for instance, with Nancy reiterated, like, we used to do concerts, or we did Mopar Day. That was one of the reasons we did this, to start raising funds. We used to send out a flyer, and if you go back to our website, you go back to the flyer, we'll ask for $15, $20, $30. We wanna do this, we wanna do that. And, we also had something 2 years ago with a lady by Katrina Nylet that was running it. If you submitted so much, monthly, we would send you a print, we would send you a newsletter. It's like a subscription. So we have always been self-reliant. Mr. Mosley always did things his way, and obviously illegally, but has nothing to do with the museum. We've been audited. We've had people, we've asked for the state because of Mr. Mosley. And I will stand here proudly and tell y'all, it was nothing.
So when these fundraisers that the Alice Mosley, not the foundation, Alice Mosley's museum runs, when was it, did y'all have one in 2024?
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think we've had one. Well, I can answer that other than doing Mopar, and that was really a FEMA thing. We were just trying to raise
just-
money.
yeah.
We haven't had anything pre-COVID. If you go back and look at our website, I think in 19, 18, 20, 21, we used to do Alice Mosley Fest, and I believe that's the last time we've had a fundraiser.
So one of my main goals, or one of my main focuses for asking for financials and all this other things that were submitted were to make sure someone would be eligible for an in-kind rate, right? So
Yes, let's get back to the
Yeah, let's get
museum,
back
and
to
I
the
can
museum.
answer
So-
your question.
so-
Go ahead.
to get to a in-kind discounted rate. So I know previously, I don't know if it was discussed, I don't see any in-kind on the income categories on here. Maybe that, was believed to have been like the grants that need to be shown on here. I would like to follow up and find out if grants do need to be reported on here, because one of the main objectives was to make sure whoever is gonna be a recipient of in-kind rate is in good standing. And my concern now is with $10,000 from the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, and then
These are
No.
all government agencies,
yeah,
by the
government
way.
agency,
Yeah.
another $7,500 donation, that's $1,750 right there. And that puts you well over the $50,000.
Right.
The 990.
The
I understand
990
that.
easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens with the IRS, or if you stated that that's happened several years in the past. I don't know if you need to get in touch with, you mentioned Mr. Rigby. And
Well, we
get
have
all the-
someone now that is also doing, Mr. Rick was just an advisor. He
Advisor.
wasn't, we've always based our information on
Yeah.
what we were told. And the government agents we dealt with, just like I stated earlier, 90% of the grants got from government.
Yeah.
So if there was anything we did, I find that very unusual, because we've always fulfilled our grants. We've also turned in all of our paperwork. We've never had an objection, never had a problem. We've got grants, Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries, Mississippi Arts Commission, Mississippi Archives and Development Commission. We've dealt with all of these people, and we've never had a problem, and we
Yeah.
continually get grants from them.
And I could be wrong, but I believe.
Well, I'm
that-
just basing it
No,
based
no,
on us, so
Yeah,
you may be right, and I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, I believe that those have to be recorded on there, so maybe we can get clarification. I can call,
Oh, I'll have
couple-
somebody on in a few minutes.
yeah, I know a
Yeah.
couple CPAs I can call to make sure. But But that is my understanding that they have to be on there, so.
But can we get back to the lease? How about this?
I just had a couple
Go
words.
ahead.
No, and I can appreciate the city council's due diligence, and I think that's what we need to, and going forward, as we've seen, examples in the past, that it's our financial and fiduciary responsibility to ensure we know the financials of nonprofits or any entities that we could potentially, as Jordan mentioned, give an in-kind donation that's decreased or below fair market value, and understand where that money is spent. You know, we spend a lot of time on where that money is being received to pay the city essentially for that rent, and rightfully so. Now, with that being said, again, I hope we have the same due diligence and understanding what the expenses are as well on the flip side with these entities. And I want to look at it from a systematic standpoint of, and going back to what the proposals are, because we do want to look at these systematically. We've discussed, are we going to do the top floor with this group, Alice Mosley, that would be under fair market value and really an in-kind donation. How do we handle that first floor? How do we handle that other building that we have another nonprofit in? So I want to make sure we come across a very systematic approach how to objectively determine this and try to take the subjectivity out of it. So I just want to kind of better understand, though, the dynamics of what was proposed with the square foot and the rates. So the western wing, and this is proposal option A, is about 1,532 square feet. And then the proposal for B was 1,080. So that brings it to a total of 2,612 square feet. Now, Jordan, you had mentioned there is still some space that's probably not included in that. Is that correct?
The total square footage, I believe, is I had an appraisal from back in 2017 sent to me, and in that appraisal, I think they measured 4,016 square footage. The print that the city had, I believe, at 4,100, so it's
Okay.
over 4,000.
Okay.
I'm pulling.
And I think he's pretty close.
And so with that, with what was proposed for the western wing at 645, and then what was proposed for the eastern wing at 450, that brings it to roughly about 1,095 a month. If that's going to be the total occupied space, and this is for the council to consider and understand what direction we want to go, that puts it, 42 cents a square foot for the 2006-12. If you do 4,000, you're looking at, roughly 15 cents a square foot. So I just want to make sure what we decide and what we determine of an in-kind, that we have a systematic approach for other entities.
Yeah.
Is this the building with the figure out, okay, do we want to go that same direction for the first floor? Or we want to put that out for more comps, that's more of a private entity? Same thing for the City Hall building. So.
Personally, I think first floor, nobody's occupying it. I think best bet RFP for the first floor. I don't know if somebody will want to move in there, but I think we should set some guidelines on, I'd love to have the visitor center there, but maybe whoever occupies it needs to be open 7 days a week, or have something to where somebody
Yeah.
can be greeted and come in there. Whenever we go out there, we can set some, hey, look, we want you to unlock the bathrooms outside. Like, give them some responsibilities to be.
What we think about privatizing the visitor center? Is that what you're saying?
On the
First.
bottom, for the bottom.
For the bottom.
Yeah, for the bottom. The top, that's what we're discussing. The top is here.
Yeah,
for
and
tonight.
again,
Right, but I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
because again, what decisions we make to give to one, I just want to make sure we're consistent and systematic
Absolutely.
for all.
Yeah.
So
So
again,
I think what they put in, it was $5 on there.
well, I think that was based. Correct me if
I
I'm
have
wrong.
it right here, go ahead.
The updated lease proposed a monthly rent of $645 based on the city's current municipal building market rate estimate of $5 a square foot.
That's correct.
So is that based off the 1,532 square feet?
Yes,
No.
Yes.
It was.
that's what the board, remember, that's what the board gave Kenzie, and I looked at the numbers. We were at one time, I don't know if y'all aware of this, do y'all know that Alice Mosley, when she moved there in 2006, was given his business building by the previous administration? And we were asked to move from Alice's house to the depot. We were in that building 3 months, and the council hit us with $800 a month after we moved there for free. We weathered that storm for 4 years, and we almost went belly up. Council in 2017, this administration, and the council previous, Mr. Salvo was on the council, and I think Mr. Smith at the time was on the council. They saw what we did, and with 2715-1 says the service. Let's get back to what we're here for. We're here for a museum that has been around for 21 years. We're here for a museum that has done so much, and Alice Mosley has done so much. We want to be here. We want to stay here. This foundation has nothing to do. Our fundraising is no different than yours. If we made a couple bumps in the road, if we made a mistake, easily fixed, because we have a great relationship with the state, and the state is, they're helping us on trying to buy Alice's house back. And we've been doing that for 6 years, and a lot of y'all up here know that. Okay, the Smith family has stepped up for the last 6 years and tried to buy this house back in writing, with money deposited, with an attorney in Gulfport, where we want Alice's house back. And they were gonna underwrite this with their money to put this house back to open another museum. So we wanna be here. We want to continue this service. I've given 21 years of my life. I love her, and she is a icon. She belongs in this city. She belongs in this town. And if some of you who did pass by and know what we do and what we try to do, we do some marvelous stuff. We do some great educational programs. And I think one of them, and it's my baby, yes, and it's good, but look what Mopar has done. We had 700 room nights rented this past week because of Mopar. So we've always given back what we have. We don't make any money. Museums never make any money. If you're gonna do your homework, go look at O'Keefe, go look at Orr. They are our sister museum. Look at Lynn Meadows, who we've been enjoying with. Talk with Bernie at Ground Zero, which we have a wonderful place. None of us make money. Museum doesn't make money. And Nancy, you being in arts all your life, I'm gonna say it to you, museums survive. They don't make money. None of them make. And I will go one step further in the passion that Mr. Smith, who Alice mentored for 58 years, this is a very wealthy doctor, engineer, lawyer, who has put his heart to fix the wrongs that Mr. Tim Mosley did, to make this museum what it is and to keep it here. Him and Alice were together for 58 years. He doesn't have to do this. He could have walked away when Tim died and did all of this nonsense. He put it out of his pocket. And then I'll say it again. Do we want to stay here? Yeah. Do we want upstairs? Now I'll say it the best way. If you want any information, we'll meet with the city attorney. We'll give you anything you want from this foundation. But she deserves a break to stay here. She deserves a break for what we do. And we're willing to pay the rent a year in advance. Every year, we will pay the rent a year in advance. Since the day we sign it, when he signs his name, I'll put your check in and certify. This lady deserves it. We don't deserve a witch hunt. We fought Tim Mosley because we saw an opportunity. The Smith family did. Where Tim Mosley bought these houses, yes, he did. He put names all over the place. That's why you have attorneys. But we have fought for the last 27 months to keep Alice's name pure because of her son. And a lot of people in this room know Tim Mosley's modus operandi, or what some of the nonsense this man did. We could have walked away. But we were able to solve this. We were able to have the Smith family come in here, and that's why he fought Smith, to go get this money. And you know what he did with it? He could have put it right in his pocket. Said, we won. No, he took this money and he put it in Alice Latimer Mosley Museum so he could buy the house back and turn it into a museum. He put this money back into Alice Latimer Mosley and got rid of Tim and Alice Mosley because it was illegal and wrong. He spent $43,000 of his money to correct images and wrong. She don't deserve this.
So, Kyle, back to,
Yeah, I need to clarify those numbers. So it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the accountant. So it'd be, so bumping it through the 4,000 square feet at 1,095 would actually put it closer to about 327 a square foot. I think I had miscalculated. Because we're adding in the total square foot. Of course, the 2,612 square feet is included the west, what was on A and B.
oh, you're talking about keeping the price that they submitted.
Well, no, what I'm just kind of illustrating, I think it was presented at 5. If you were to add on that square footage at
yeah,
that
come
same
down to
amount,
three,
it'd
yeah.
bring it down to about 327. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. I stated the wrong numbers on that. But again, that's where we have to decide what do we feel objectively, board groups such as nonprofits that we can feel confident that we're giving something systematically across the board for them. And again, putting an increased awareness of where those financials go,
Yeah.
what money comes in, what goes out as
Exactly,
well. But I did want to clarify those numbers.
Mr. Jordan, may I add something that we could have sat back and I'll tell y'all, and I'm not a voting member. I'm retired, I'm not a voting member. We could have stood up here tonight. Mackenzie could have stepped up here in August. We could have said, you gotta give it to us for $1. We can't afford it. But we found a way. We hooked up with so many Zoom calls, we have a financial guy that we hired just to help us out of Florida. Works for Morgan Stanley to try to help us with this nonsense if we succeed. Keep in mind that we were paying 800, almost went belly up. This council, some of them, including Mr. Smith, gave us $1 a year and we flourished, even doing COVID. We kept this museum going. And now we're finally coming out to daylight. We've won some significant court battles. We're putting the money back into we're putting it back into our city. This money can't be used anywhere else. Alice Latimer Mosley Museum, according to the bylaws that we have, that's a PF. Any penny that Mr. Smith puts in the bank, ladies and gentlemen, has to go back into Alice Mosley's venture. He can't spend it anywhere else. That's what a PF means. We applied 3 years, and Mr. Jordan knows this. He's a CPA. We were a 501c3. But then David Crane, the smartest real estate guys he is, said, we're gonna go get a PF. We're gonna make sure this money is never tampered with. All of these people coming out of the woodworks trying to take this money, because Tim willed it to everybody. We went and hired the biggest and the best attorney. And we got this, and we're a PF. We can't use this money on anything else but Alice. We have to put it back in Bay St. Louis. We can't donate it to her hometown of Birmingham. We can't donate it to her house in Pope. We have to donate it back to Alice Mosley. So just imagine the fight we've had, but look at the success we've gained. We now have monies in the bank, which we've never had in 21 years, till this court battle. And anything we do forward with y'all, is gonna go back into it. And we've always done that, from festivals to Mopar to anything else we've done. We got brighter days ahead. And all we're asking is to let us, what's the expression? Leave us alone and let us go home. We've been an icon up there. And again, I hear y'all with the tourism. Believe me, we've heard it for last week. Hundreds, not thousands of people. God, don't please make them leave y'all alone. That this has nothing to do with us. That's the total thing. We belong up there.
Mr. Lonnie, why haven't you filed any 990 PFs?
I'm not gonna answer him. Talk to Mr. David Crane, subpoena. Mr. Smith, you're on a witch hunt. You're not gonna get it tonight.
Sir, I'm just asking you. You
That's
stood here and told
that's
us
not-
from your mouth that you thought you 990 PF, and I'm just responding. Yes, it's correct, but you have never filed a 990 PF.
Because we just got it, Mr. Smith. You didn't hear what I said. I said we just secured it through the David Crane. And I said also, if Mr. Crane wants to go sit there with this lady, we'll be more than happy to bring you, but not with you. You're not a licensed attorney. You won't understand that. We have done everything with a signed judge giving us the authority. You're not an authority. She is. David Crane's an authority, and so is Shannon Ozen. So if you want to bring these people in and start talking about a foundation, let's talk about the museum. Let's not talk about a foundation. We're here for Alice Mosley Museum. He's here for witch hunt. Let's talk about what's good.
Let's quit all that.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
address them, quit addressing the witch hunt. So I got a question then. Start with, you
Mike,
said
nice
y'all
speaking
sold
of
300, 700 hotel rooms, Bay St. Louis for cruising. Bay St. Louis has been sold out of hotel rooms since day one of Cruising the Coast.
That's just it.
Since day one. Mopar didn't sell these 700 rooms. If they might have got some, but if they wouldn't have, somebody would have got them. So
I want
that's
to
an
see
even
that.
that's an even thing there. Second, you said the museum has their own money. Where is that money?
People fun.
Okay,
It's not
so
P&L.
I don't know if we got the financials on that or what. Second, you said the doctor gives money when needed.
Mm-hmm. If
Okay.
we ask for it.
Gives his money or whatever to carry it over.
He donates it to the museum.
So,
Where-
so we sold houses and that's in a bank account somewhere. When does that money get used?
Whenever Alice Mosley needs anything.
Well, if the doctor gives it, then,
He's the chairman of Alice Latimer Mosley.
well, so he don't give his money then, like you stated.
Well, when we needed, he did, Mike. Before Alice Latimer Mosley was incorporated with a.
So second, I'd like to, again, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see all the events that's been done in the last 4 years. I'd like to see all the classes that's been taught in the last 4 years, that's been put on.
Mhm.
Concerts.
And these type things that is being said that the Mosley Museum does.
Okay,
It's just that simple.
okay. So what does that have to do with a lease?
It's got a whole thing. You say you did this. Show us. I think council wants it all, from financials to everything that's been done in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lonnie, have you seen the financials that were submitted to us?
No, I didn't.
So,
Did.
so you stated that Dr. Smith will donate to the museum when it needs financial help. You have, on the financials, it has donations and sponsorships of $100.
With Mr. Smith, he's the chairman of the board. Okay.
So the money is coming from the foundation.
Yeah, when I say Mr. Smith, he's the chairman of the board, and when we need anything or any activities, we will go to him and say this, and this, and he would say, okay. And he would speak to the rest of the board members, and then they would take the action for it. Has he put up some of his own personal money for donations? Sure he has. I think he used to put up $100 a month. His wife put up $200 a month. That was all part of the donations.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Lonnie? And then we'll have some discussion amongst ourselves.
Yeah, my only thing is, according, I don't know if anybody, I know Kyle was working on the math. The math you proposed was like $1,673 a month. Is that what you came up with?
So the math I have comes out, if they were to take
Should
all
be about that.
The whole top
4,000,
floor.
Oh, to add the extra 2,000 onto it? Because the
Yeah,
first
to-
proposal was just about half.
Yeah, to take
Yeah.
the whole top floor, and I say
That-
the
that
proposal
comes
Jordan was
out
speaking
to-
of.
20,000 a year. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, right,
1670 a month,
Yeah.
but that's just for, I think we also need to tack on the utilities, electricity, and property taxes.
There is no property tax.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
Utilities is only on 1 meter, Jordan. And
So we
that
had to-
meter is off up the street, and any light, anything that's on there, if you look at your,
So we,
docket of claims, it'll show what that is, and that average is anywhere between $400 to $600 a month. We contribute voluntarily, by the way. We contributed, 8 years ago, I think we came to the town, we, agreed voluntarily give $150 a month towards the utilities, because there is no meter there. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we only there 6 hours a day. We're not there all the time. We don't have the lights burning all the time, but everything, anyone that comes to that depot that plugs into the side of that building runs the bill up.
Yeah, I think December last year was pretty high. 'Cause there was a
Yeah,
lot of
it
those
was,
Christmas
and
trades
anytime
and
there's a
stuff.
concert or
Probably
anything,
double.
they
Yeah.
plug into the side of that building. Y'all have outlets out there under that depot, under every street,
yeah,
so
but-
that's all under one master
is it 170 a month for you?
box that Mississippi Power has out front.
Flat rate.
We could probably come up with a flat rate for that.
May I ask what you had, Mr. DeSalvo, on the square footage again, please?
What Mr. Bradford said,
4,006.
4,016 or
Yeah,
something?
4,016 or 4,006.
Total up there?
Yes,
That's
sir.
about right,
Yes, sir. Time the $5 y'all proposed
okay?
was $20,085 divided by
Okay.
12 is 1673.15 was my math.
Okay, so
And
that's
there's
a good
something,
starting point.
and there's something to do with, like, the chamber has to pay, once we lease the building or rent it, I think property taxes, big ad valorem taxes,
Right.
or something becomes due on that portion that we rent. So, I know the chamber pays like 1,700 a year or so property, ad valorem tax on that building besides the lease.
There's no
So,
ad valorem, Mr. DeSalvo.
Yes, so something comes into effect that, when it's
It-
not the
it's-
city using it no more, it becomes taxable property again.
Well, would you call Jimmy on that, please?
Yeah.
This came from Jimmy, that building is because it was donated to the city from L&N Railroad, which is really was the Texas Railroad back in the day. They donated that to the city with the agreement that this building would be used as a visitor center, a education center, and a welcome center. So if you go back to your lease from 1993, you're gonna see that this is a in-kind building. according to Mr. Ladner, we've asked this question before, Josh, that there is no ad valorem on that building.
I would have
So,
to verify that. I could be wrong,
please.
but
Please do.
I know the chamber, when we decided to lease it, they had to,
Yeah,
become
well,
taxable.
you know the reason, and again, the conversation with Mr. Salvo was because Holly had opened a restaurant there and turned it into a commercial endeavor.
yeah.
This building here in the museum, so y'all know, this building cannot be a commercial endeavor. You can't put a restaurant. You can't cut the walls, you can't put ventilation, you can't put a fryer. Y'all have a fryer downstairs in the kitchen that's not even hooked up, because you can't. It's been there, it's brand new. So, that's just an example. But if we can get back to whatever the 1693, what is the council thinking on the lease?
If we do, I would like it for be the entire square footage, no common area.
No, I just added the whole
Yeah,
thing, is that
yeah,
what y'all just
ma-
gave me?
Maintenance will be on the tenant, so, the toilet goes out, that'll be on y'all to fix, and not the city. We do
Well,
need
that's gonna be a sticking point. If I may talk, we're in the budget here. Okay. We've been in that building 16 years. I think one of the things that I would like to discuss, if you get to this point, this is an antiquated building. Been there since 1923. Jordan, y'all need to please, and I'll be more than happy to meet y'all there, but I think y'all need to look at cracks and deteriorating things that are happening. Go look at the stairwell in the rear, which is the emergency thing. Y'all need to look at some of the condition of these things. You have trains passing by that vibrate and build 24/7 most of the time. I think that's a stretch. If you go back and look at your elevator, it has nothing to do with alcohol. It's an elevator that's been there since the 60s. That elevator has been nothing but a problem. Most of the problem with the elevator is that wear and tear and shaking and everything. That's a major expense.
And
The toilets are a major expense. Those things, we have had problems with, let me rephrase that. The second floor has had numerous problems with the roof leaking. There's still cracks in there, y'all just put a new roof on. The air conditioning in that building, you can go look at it now, it's been gone, and please go back and look at your service record. You go look at that, we had to put a bucket, Mr. Vandy's aware of this, he's been very attentive, but for us to take over the maintenance of this building, which is an antiquated building, that is having problems, and that is old, that's putting a heavy burden on a nonprofit, because that elevator, I think your maintenance contract is pretty steep. And y'all would have to maintain that elevator whether we're there or not.
I
The
think
toilet's being flushed.
that's one of my things on looking at this is when you look at all the buildings and if they're not really benefiting the city in
Right.
some kind of way, do we really need them? Because we're never gonna recoup our funds on that building, the one the Chamber's in, the Boys and Girls Club.
Nope.
Senior Citizen Building, we just steady losing, and we gotta find a point somewhere where we say, is this really benefiting enough of the taxpayer base for everybody to benefit from it? Or is it benefiting a select few? And do we need to continue down this road of just keep funding for the next 100 years? I think it's time we draw a line and say, okay, this is really not benefiting 90% of the community, it's only benefiting 10%. So now we need to just figure out, hey, do we need to do something else? And sell the building the Chambers in? The depot grounds to me is priceless. The building is probably worth something, but not the same, but
But
for
I
the
believe
city,
you-
for the city.
Yes,
But
yeah.
for the taxpayer base that's funding all this, we never gonna recoup the insurance and the cost and the maintenance and the things we just keep dumping to say it's for a great cause, but so with the paved road for some people and fixed ditches and everything else that we can maintain better if we took the same 200,000-300,000 a year we losing in buildings and put it every year to a use somewhere else that would better serve the public. And that's nothing against Mosley or you or nothing or the chamber. It's just, I think it's time we really do our homework and say,
Okay.
what's gonna benefit the people the best and go from there. And I know we offer services, we're not in business to make money, but we're not in business to lose money every year neither. So we gotta figure out a happy medium somewhere and say, okay, what do we do? Do we look at
May I concur with you?
maybe one person move, and we fully use the depot for both organizations, and we sell one building, at least we're only losing on one instead of two. I mean, cause we're just steady losing.
Well-
And we gotta stop the bleeding at some point, if not.
May I do the homework for you?
Mhm.
47,200, I do, you know me, I do my homework, you know, $47,213 a year y'all pay for that bill. Okay,
So even at collecting
bu-
20 from you, we're still losing
Thank you.
27,000 plus everything.
let's
else,
go
you know.
further,
Yeah,
please.
We're just trying to cover the cost. There's gonna
Well,
be
here's
47,
where
split
we're
it-
going, to
split it
take
by
your
two.
utility, let's take the 47,000 and round it off. I did the homework because, look, I know where you're coming from, I sat there.
Yeah.
47,000 for your insurance. Your utilities on that building now runs about 18,000. So now we're at 65. Okay, and then let's take Mr. Vanny going there, the air conditioning break, the elevator break. I would guess right now, just from the records we have, that y'all probably put $50,000 worth of maintenance in that building in the last year. Y'all just spent $279,000 through a grant to paint the building, which it needed desperately. Okay? You're never, ever gonna recoup in a building like this. I agree with him. I'm agreeing with every one of y'all up here, but the deal is with this building is what I said before. This is a service industry building.
Right.
I believe, if I remember right, and I have a copy somewhere, that building cannot be sold. I think you can sell any other building, but I
Yeah, I'm
believe
not
there.
saying sell that one because
Yeah,
of the grounds. and
there you
stuff,
go.
but
So
we need to look at
how do you
everything.
cover your costs? If we're sitting here right now and you being a CPA, and look, I'm agreeing with y'all here.
I wish I was a CPA. Mr.
Okay.
Lyon.
Thank you.
Not
I
there
wish you
yet.
were too, but you're very good at it. But if we add up the cost, just what your overhead is right now, and divide that by 12, you would need to charge about $7,700 a month to break even.
Yeah,
Who's
that's-
gonna pay $7,700 a month for that building?
And that's when I split it by two. We're just trying to cover the cost and
There
take
was
the
a
whole-
gentleman that came in from Louisiana, he owns a part of Landry Seafood. When this rumor came out about that building being open, he came to the depot, and I think Nancy's laughing, I think she already knows the story. He came in there and said, okay, he started square footing it, and he's saying, geez, right, for me to take this building and maintain it and everything, that's gonna cost me $10,000 a month. So what he did, he turned around and left and went and bought Clay Creation. Because he can do what he wants to do. It's about the building we're in, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a museum. If we're not in there, who are you gonna put in? Who are you gonna put in?
and that's what we're
Listen,
trying to
I'm gonna
figure out.
plead with y'all, forget about Alice Moore. We need to have this visitor center back open. My God, the black eye, the things we're, look, that's all on y'all. We go back to Alice Moore. It's either, I understand breaking even, John, George,
So Josh, you're saying
Linda?
put them both in the same building?
I'm saying we just need to discuss something as council and figure out what we can do to stop some of the bleeding that we bleed on
Absolutely.
all these city-owned buildings that the city's not using. Because the city's not using none of the four I listed. I mean, we use the depot grounds a lot for events and different things, but senior building, boys and girls, you know, old city hall, the city itself is not actually using any of those facilities
Right.
for,
Mr. Sup, y'all, you're the vice president this year. Y'all,
yes, sir.
I'd like to send y'all,
Okay.
because we've been doing the same thing. I'm not gonna say it, but lead y'all, we've been looking around many buildings in this city. Dr. Smith was here for a week. We went and looked at every building we could look at.
What's the square footage of just where your artwork is? Just not the
1350, what is it, 13?
just the artwork area?
Just the, where we at, Linda,
Not the
1350?
little office or anything like
No,
that,
ma'am.
just the.
Is that, would that be option A, that 1532? Is that?
1530, I had it back, 1532, exactly what it is. That's what we've been using since 2008. And if that's what we have to use now, look, we were offering to take the whole floor just to help out. Seriously. If y'all remember the first proposal y'all got, it was just for our area. And then when we heard the scuttlebutt about tourism, reason Mackenzie put an addendum to y'all was we were figuring, okay, if we can come in there and help the situation, take the whole floor, pay for the whole floor, then y'all burden is gone in the top, y'all can start concentrating on the tourism. So to answer your question, we don't really need that tourism. We really don't. but we would do it to help expand us, to make us better. Do we have to have that tourism office? No. But when you open the meeting, one of the things that this board just did address this week, when I sat in, was, hey, if the city wants us to take the first floor and we can expand that museum, make it bigger and better and put some more stuff up, if we can afford it, we'll do it. If not, we'll go back to the footprint we're in. So remember that, you know, we're here discussing with you because we want a remedy. We want the best for that building, we want the best for Alice, but we also gotta be able to afford it. Right now, I'll tell you, 16, 7, whatever job came up, we can't afford that. Sure.
That was gonna be my question, is that doable or not, you know?
I don't think so, Josh, because I'll tell you, keep
Because
in mind.
I was just saying, because you were saying you concurred with Jordan early when he was saying them numbers, and I was just wanting to make sure you might not have been following along with the math as you was listening, you know? And that's why I want to throw it out there with.
Well, you
with
know, it
the-
all depends on, this is the budget, and this is a good conversation to have, because we're here worried about square footage and what we can do to salvage this relationship, and it is a relationship, it's a long, and we're willing to continue it on, and we do have the funding to do it. We worked very hard to get to the point where we're now at. 21 years of being broke, and now we're in a position where we could have walked away and said we can't. But this board worked diligently to get to that 648. They really did. And then to have the finance go back now because of the success we had in court to say we can help y'all. Remember, we presented y'all a raise. We didn't come back in here and ask for the dollar. Mackenzie got up here and said, hey, we want to give back. We also raised the utilities, if you remember. We raised it from 150 to 175.
Well, that's so the 1670 would just be the base, rent, and then you have the
And to put that in
utility,
perspective,
electricity.
with what I've talked to people across the street paying in the buildings for rent, in the low end of the square footage is about $18 a square foot. So even at the $5 a square foot, you'd be looking at almost $4,350 a month of in-kind off of the rent, off of the $18.
We were offered a place across the street, Josh, on the corner, and they wanted $21 a square
Now,
foot.
see, 18 is the low end, it's 18 to 23 over there, depending on where you get them.
No museum can afford that, that's
Yeah.
my point.
And triple net, where they're
Yeah.
responsible for everything.
And
I
keep
mean,
in
right
mind,
now, we
gentlemen
still
and
got the
ladies,
insurance.
we also supply y'all with, we always have supplied y'all with $1 million worth of insurance up there, with a $3 million per incident that we have paid for the last 16 years. We were paying $750 a year, we started paying $1,400 a year, now it's up to $1,600 a year, that's no cost to you. One of the other things we've done also, other than being a museum, there's a security system up there. I don't know if y'all noticed it when y'all visited. There's a bell and everything else that goes along with that. We have security for y'all in that building. If something happens, we've been paying that. We own that system and we put it in y'all building. And we have monitors to protect our ladies. We have fire alarms. And for years there, y'all never had any fire system in it. But you do now.
Well, does anyone have any more questions for Mr. Lonnie, and then we'll get back to figuring out what we want to do with the building. So I
May I
know,
put something on the record? If you and Mr. Salvo would like to meet, with, Mr. Crane to answer any of these other questions, we don't have a problem answering it.
Yeah,
All we
no.
need to do is get the court documents, and I think that'll be suffice.
and I would like to add as well, before we, I guess, negotiate it or extend it, at least I'd like to see the clarification on that 990 with the
Not a
grant,
problem.
with the grant money on there. If you get us something back from the IRS saying, hey, look, this is
Absolutely.
the updated, because I don't want to, my main thing in the very beginning was to make sure everyone's in good standing, and knowing that, I think that throws some conflict. And
Well, if it's there, we'll
Yeah,
discover it. Mr.
absolutely.
Crane will be called the minute I walk out the door, because he was paid to do the PF. He was paid to do the 990s along with, Bray Bright. And these people get paid to do the second year. So if they miss something or they do anything, believe me, we have to correct it to
Yeah, that's-
maintain our
that's what-
status.
that's what I'd like to correct it before we.
Oh, well, absolutely. When are y'all planning on
And the
given
difference in the 990 over 50,000 is pretty much itemizing everything.
That's all it is.
Differently. Just
All you gotta do is go
different
back and itemize it, cause we just went through the same thing with MLK Park. We had something, Mr. Reed gave me some paper, we had to go back and drop 990 and had to go back and do a long form. You got 5 years to do it, so it's not it's not a big thing. If we need to claim it, which we'll find out, I'll call Wildlife
That's what-
Fishery.
That's what I'd like to get that
Sure.
handled first and foremost. And then I guess now we'll have some discussion amongst the council. Kind of go down the line if you want, see what you'd like to do for the building. You know, we've talked to Mr. Lonnie, if he'll be here, or I don't, if he'll hang around if
I
anyone
am.
else has any more questions.
I'll be more than happy to.
But I guess go down. Maybe
I
we'll
just
start with
have
you.
one question for you, Lonnie. You just said that 1673.15 a month is a deal breaker for you.
That's just based on what the board told me they thought that, they gave me a figure they thought would be fair to them.
And what is that figure?
I think I'll put it on a table, $13.50 is what
Okay.
they are thinking. And I do have, Mr. Riso gave y'all a note at the last meeting that I could speak. He received the letter, so I will tell you that $13.50 was what I am okay with up to now.
Was that just the rental amount, or was
Yes,
that
ma'am.
included of
What they want to do,
inclusive?
Linda, I'm sorry, they would approve for my instruction, $13.50. We would continue to supply, but that building's insured to next year. So, you know, the insurance, security, we would stay. I will say this, if we need to go up $200 a month for the utilities, that's not a deal breaker. We offered $150, y'all took it, we offered $175 now. I would increase that to $200 a month,
I'm sorry, to y'all, I'm sorry.
In addition to the 1350?
absolutely. And keep in mind, we're open 6 days.
That was my question. Do you have like a paid staff or volunteer staff that help?
We have both, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, to be quite frank with you, we just finished meeting with SMPDD. One of the problems we had, and listen, I wish Mackenzie was still with us, but unfortunately, some of the things we do, you can just afford so much that we have to put it back in the museum. One of the things I think all of us know here, and I kept talking to Jordan and bothering, saying, you know, we need to get this down because we're missing out on so many grants. And that's true, we have missed out on a ton. But I will tell you all this, and I think a lot of people, and I think some of the people that know this, in the art field, the grants have dried up. I mean, it's tough, getting grants now. So, you know, we need to evolve. But one of the things, Jordan, and I know, I'd like to address this, talking with Nancy and Linda, and the security, we're fine where we are, but I think the maintenance on that building, that's a, I can't see it because of the age of that building. You'd be asking us, a building that's 100 years old, 103 years old, maintain the maintenance, that's tough.
And that's maybe we can define what we expect. You know, I think very least bathrooms. Now the elevator, that's a discussion for us to.
I would like
still
y'all to go
handle
to
that
it, would y'all please, I know some of y'all been, would y'all go
Yeah.
look at this building a little bit closer now, because whenever the train comes in and shakes that building, there's a crack in that bathroom now. Those bathrooms just redone. We're sitting on a building where 100 tons pass that 4 times a day.
And I
You
know
go look at it now, you got cracks in it now, y'all just repaired it.
before Jordan's time, there was talk of, one reason we built the other bathrooms was because the inside utilities could not handle a big event because they would clog up every
And
time.
I'm glad you brought that up. You remember 4 years ago?
It's
we-
old clay pipe or something, if a lot of people go, it'll
terracotta.
clog up,
Right.
terracotta.
There you go.
okay.
That whole building underneath is terracotta, and they had to have somebody burrow. Thank you, Josh, because that's true. We had to have somebody burrow underneath that building to put some pipes in there because it's bad. So that's. And one time on a weekend, that bathroom downstairs
Overflowed.
overflowed out
Yeah.
in the street. You remember? So
Oh.
that's kind of a,
Well, and Josh can be a historian to help me with this on the elevator. I know that was a point of discussion we had when we had that grant to fix some items, because it seemed like every week Ronnie and his team's getting called out there, what we were putting in to renovate or, put in parts.
I think they
Probably
got,
could have replaced it,
Mhm.
once it was all said and done.
Yeah, because
But-
I think they got most of that fixed, Mr. Falco. I mean, for the
What's
most
that?
part, I know they changed some of the big parts or
Yeah.
something that was wore out that kept tripping.
Well,
the
what
switch
the
or
thing is,
whatever.
you got an elevator that was put in 1963, and one of the problems y'all had was it was not ADA compliant. And if you remember, we had 4 or 5 people stuck in that thing, and then y'all were reported, even when I sat up there, we were reported about a half a dozen times. Which, let me bring this up now, please. This morning, in this past week, we were reported 3 times for not being ADA compliant. And I spent Sunday out there with one of our maintenance guys, and here's the reason why. That building, since tourism is shut down, we have no way of getting someone handicapped upstairs. And I knew the answer, and what we actually did yesterday was we went and cleaned up the hallway, got the city building downstairs, we cleaned up the hallway, we moved all of the debris and stuff out, and there's a door in the back that is always used as an emergency. And we went and we purchased a sign today, we opened that building, and we put a sign out there saying handicap accessible, because they were getting ready to shut it down. Because even though tourism is here, and we are here, if we have someone that needs to get up and with with handicap, which happened this weekend, if we could, they reported. So now, as of today, we're handicap accessible again. See, that's a city deal, and that's hard for us to maintain, city doors and stuff. We had to pry that door
There's no
open.
ramp in the front of the building, I guess.
No,
You gotta
remember
go
when
around
y'all
the back.
went to there, we tried to get a ramp and they shot it down. So if you go around the back, there's only one handicap ramp, and that's going on the tourism side. If tourism is closed, we have to shut down. By law, we should shut down with them. And with them being shut down, they were ready to shut it down, but the guy was super. So we went, SNL, we put a sign, we cleaned it out, and now we'll check. We got a bus coming in with 48 people Wednesday. That's another thing about the tourism center. We got buses coming in, no tourism open.
Well, that's
Read-
where I was leading at earlier with the
Okay.
questioning of staff, volunteer, and paid is to make it more valuable to the city. I think would be some kind of way to have it open for the Amtrak and stuff. 'Cause that was the biggest complaints I saw on social media when tourism locked up, was some kind of welcome center or somebody manning the building to let people in and out to use the restaurants getting on and off the train, and that may be as much if not more value than a museum at this point, in my opinion, so that's why I was asking if that was something that we could all work towards
Well,
too,
I'm sorry, you asked me, and may I help? Again, I made a statement earlier, and I wish Dr. Smith was here. I think y'all would see this man. Mr. Smith reached out to the city twice last week and offered to pay the money to keep tourism open through the end of the year. He was denied. Mr. Smith wanted to pay Susan and Debbie's salary through Cruising the Coast and through Mopar into this week.
How would that have worked if they were in abeyance already, though? They would have had to come out of
Well,
abeyance, right?
I don't know the answer. That's an administrative call. We stayed out of it, but Mr.
I'm just
Ladner.
thinking on
Well, Bill
like-
Carter, what we did was, we wanted to make sure we would not cross any legal line.
Yeah.
And what we did was, we contacted Mr. Carter. Now, keep in mind, Jordan, the word abeyance here fits the board. There is still Hancock County tourism. They still exist. So what we offered, Dr. Smith offered, was to write a check, because they're still in existence. There's a concert coming up Wednesday. Y'all have another one. Mackenzie is phasing out with assets that some people own. So what Dr. Smith said was, we'll write a check to pay Susan and Debbie's salary, give it to Hancock County Tourism.
I know,
We called Scotty, we called Bill Carter, and they said you have to make the offer to the city to open the door. They agreed to open the door, then we'll check, but we never heard back.
that's interesting, because I know that's a completely different topic, but I saw their minutes said they stopped September 30th. So their executive director's last day was September 30th. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic.
That's y'all call,
Yeah.
that's,
did you have any?
I saw Mackenzie today, she told me she's still working to phase
She
everything
is.
out with Susan and McGon.
They have money
Okay.
to pay Mackenzie part-time through
There you
the
go.
end of the year.
Well, that's the fund Bill
From
Cotter,
Flores.
that's what we offered to pay Bill Cotter the funds for these individuals. We couldn't pay him direct, but we agreed to put it in the coffers. And Bill said he would accept it if they could open the door, but I think the city was worried about the, so
So let me ask you this, Lonnie, with no longer having an executive director for Alice Mosley, who, are you going to fill that position?
no, I'm not, no.
So that salary will go to what?
Saving. Right now, Mr. Riso and I think Mr. Jordan, I don't know if y'all got a copy, because Dr. Smith doesn't know everybody, but I believe y'all have a letter.
They sent it to the council as well.
Oh, did they? Okay, that, as of now, you know, the thing is that we need to regroup, we need to see where we're going. We had to make these cuts regardless, because we had no income coming in, we have no grant coming in. We didn't know whether we were gonna have a building or not, so the board went into cost cut mode. When Mackenzie sent her resignation in, I understand some reasons, I don't the other ones, but, as of right now, Mr. Smith, the letter he sent he is the chairman of the board. He will be handling everything to keep this thing going based on a decision y'all need to make, then they need to make. And, we're gonna do this as a group. I'm the Mississippi Registered Agent. That's my position here with them, and it was sent to the council. So
Yeah.
anything
I-
Mr. Smith needs, I go do the run.
Okay, so you are, I was a little confused by that. You're the liaison,
That's it.
but you've also, expressed that you were the Alice Mosley Museum Executive Director,
Was.
okay, in the Mopar advertising
right.
this.
It actually
Okay.
should say emeritus.
Okay.
Something they bestowed on me 2 years ago.
Mhm.
That's a misprint on Mr. Belcher's part.
So you don't collect a salary or and
Never have.
no intention of
Never had,
becoming executive director? or
never again,
Paid position?
never
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
This is all done by love of Alice Mosley. Only person that was, we created that position. When I left 2 years ago, and this, if we had some people came in that way, I went and got Ken. I thought she was out of trouble. Why she's not there? But no, as of now, we're in cost cutting mode, and there will not be an executive director until we get on level ground and see where we're gonna be, what we're gonna do. We met with the staff, so everybody know we running this thing by committee. Everybody, Holly and Donna, Mr. Smith, and Sheree, and everybody just rallying around each other saying, we're in no man's land. Let's just keep it going.
thank you.
Mr. Smith deposits through the Alice Latimer Mosley Fund, he deposits the salary, what's needed in there for these ladies to get paid and volunteers or paper supplies. The foundation gives them what they need, we're just waiting for y'all to help us with our, that's what.
Okay, thank you.
Any input on, I guess while we're here, might as well talk top and bottom. Any input on what you like to see for the bottom?
A cultural visitor
Visitor center.
center, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to look at this in two ways. I mean, you kind of want to obviously make a decision with your head and your heart, right? So you're starting with your heart is the fact that I think the impact of Alice Mosley on the citizens of Bay St. Louis has resonated. I think it's been an icon for years, and a lot of individuals want to see it continue. Looking at it with your head and the numbers, you know, you're looking at what was discussed just with that top floor at that 4,000 square feet. You know, if it couldn't swing that $1,600 mark, putting it about $1,350, that puts us about halfway covering our expenses just on that top. I mean, I think based on the summary that Mike Riso sent us for the train depot, we're at about a total of 44.
36% of it.
So at 44,000 total. So again, we want to look at 36%. So we want to get as close to covering our expenses, which includes utilities, electricity, property insurance, and flood insurance. You know, what we would have to evaluate is what could feasibly go on that first floor if it's going to be a similar structure to the similar square footage rate as what this would be. it would get close to covering that cost. You know, could be put out for an RFQ and see if you could get something that's higher. But again, the goal here is to at least cover our expenses. Now, that does not include the cost of maintenance, and wear and tear. But, you know, my goal is to get it as close to covering the cost, as we can, so it's not burdensome on the taxpayers. So, I mean, I'd be supportive of, you know, evaluating what would best fit on that first floor as well, and trying to keep the visitor center available and open, obviously with Amtrak coming. So, look forward to hearing what might be a feasible fit there as well. Get us closer to covering at least those expenses for both those first and second floors.
If I could finish, I got cut off before when we were talking about help in salary. We just supply, we had did this before, the Mississippi, SMPDD, which is South Mississippi Development. We've had a great relationship with these people, and when we got into a money crunch before, that program is still available. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we're getting ready to use it again, cost cutting, but also downstairs. They supply workers under their program. They have a program where
It's
they
like
will
the senior-
supply workers to come
Senior
work.
citizen program, or rehabilitate, they're trying to get.
Well, this
people
is
back
different
to
than
the
our,
workforce.
SMPDD's been doing this for 40
No,
years.
no, I meant, it's SMPDD, I think they're try to get people who've
Yeah.
recently retired and stuff.
Yeah, we've
back
used
into
them
the
before to critical acclaim.
Heard about
They've
it.
been fantastic, and when they disconnected, this would be a perfect opportunity for y'all to do a visitor center downstairs. They pay them directly, they handle everything directly. They don't do anything but manage your building. We used them for 4 years, and when we were paying that $800, that was the only way we survived, because we brought in SMPDD because we couldn't afford salary, so we brought in these workers, so y'all may wanna consider that.
You got it? Top, bottom, what you like to see?
Well, I agree that, I mean, I would love for the Welcome Center to stay downstairs. And I would like just one rental for the top,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm in agreement with that.
I'm kind of the same, like I say, we just, like Mr. Lewis said, you know, you got your heart in it, also the numbers in it, just trying to make it make sense to relieve some of the burden off of the taxpayers, you know, and what would benefit them the most, and, be best use of the building, you know, so I like to see something downstairs, maybe if we can get some kind of private sector on one spot or something. Also, maybe downstairs to do a little something. The building, I haven't been in it in a little while. The elevator, it's all pretty much open there except for the little kitchen area. It's got a door maybe going to it, or do you know?
It's
better?
closed off, the city pretty much uses it for storage.
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, but like, how can you section off? Cause second floor is always gonna need the elevator to go up and down, so if somebody else wanted a little spot, it'd have to be that right side, looking at the building, I guess.
When you look at the elevator to the left, Josh, there's the door that stays locked all the time, and if someone had that bottom alone, you go through the green doors, and you can go in that hallway and not get any access.
Okay. Okay, all right, that was petitioned off, okay, good deal. That's it, I mean, just. That's what I say. Anybody got any word on rider count on Amtrak? I know it's a little different than the lease we're discussing or whatever, but have anybody,
The rider count,
yeah, on Amtrak, anything, what's coming in, going out, anything?
that would be a good number to find out though.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially-
cause any business going in, that's gonna be one thing that's gonna affect it, is rider count of the train, I think,
Yeah.
so.
I know on the day the Saints are at home, they add an extra cart
Yes, they
Mhm.
did.
because it's
Yeah.
full.
Okay,
And
yeah,
that's the only info. I've gotten.
yeah, I just haven't saw anything on it, so I like to get some numbers on the count of the Amtrak if we could too,
Hard pressed to find a second.
to have it. Thank you, that's it, Mr. Bradford,
I want to say it was like 22,000
so far.
since it started running.
What's that been, like 2 months?
Yeah.
That's pretty good then, wow,
It is good.
more than I
Yeah,
thought,
it,
so good.
they have, it is over exceeded their expectations.
And I never really, I just happened to be in Biloxi the other day and pass their train station. Boy, we got a lot nicer one than them.
Yeah,
I know,
They-
yes.
Yeah.
They got a pavilion out there by the
Right.
street.
yeah.
So, heck, if we can keep it and add that value to that stop, it's well worth it,
Yeah.
so.
I was thinking along the lines of maybe tapping into our historical society and having pictures of Bay St. Louis from its inception all the way to today with maybe an ongoing video that people could sit and watch about Bay St. Louis, along with some of the amenities that we have today, you know, with our restaurants and that kind of thing toward the end, so that they could maybe hop in a golf cart and go right to downtown.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, like I said when we first started, you know, personally, I'd like one person to occupy the top instead of two. I know Josh had a good idea of maybe putting two in there, but I personally like the idea of just one, and I guess next and on the first floor, if we can find somebody, I don't know. I mean, budget went past. We didn't budget to put anybody down there. Part of that's because of the delayed notification that happened after our budget happened. So we could have probably planned something from there. So we really, if any increase that we get, we could use this to possibly turn around and fund a visitor center until we can figure something out long term. But I think that's a good idea that Larry had with some of the Bay St. Louis stuff. But I think keep the top floor one, bottom second. I do ask that we get the IRS stuff cleared up, and then we can sit down and have go from there, take the next steps. I know some of the numbers thrown around was at $5 for the full 4,000.
The other comes to
16.
close, if at 1350, it's, I think it's $4.06 a square
Yeah.
foot.
And then
Just round up.
we'll come up with a possible flat fee for the utilities and electricity. And that would leave the insurance, the property insurance and flood insurance on the city. I think that's a good starting point. I don't know if everyone kind of agreement with that, but I
Yes.
think the big thing is
Yeah.
make sure everything's in good standing to be eligible for the in-kind.
I agree with that.
Because also going forward, we got to figure out how much of an in-kind that is as well. I don't know if we percentage of it because that'll have to go on the 990 as well. Yeah. So
I do have one more question for Mr. Falgo, if you would. I believe the old lease was no subletting, correct?
Correct.
Um,
Yes, sir.
Do y'all do, or would you plan on doing any wall space for artists to sell art, and y'all get commissions or percentages to raise monies, or I'm just trying to see, 'cause I know,
We have in the past,
Out of the
John.
lease,
We-
okay.
We did, but the way that it works, because of these artists and the grants and everything they receive, what we do is we put a artist display board, if we charge them nothing, okay? And if they sell a print, then that's their business, and then they in turn make a donation back. Because if we run it through us, we are, don't do that.
okay,
Someone does that, then they'll say, well, okay, we'll give you 20%, give you whatever you want to give us, we'll accept it, but it has to be as a donation.
yeah. 'Cause like I said, nothing against you, I just don't wanna see
No.
us rent it for $1,300 a month, and you make $3,000 a month on the wall space or
No.
something, off of the building.
we never have
So
it
I wanna
in-
make sure that, if we giving something up to have it there and in kind, that it's not a profit center neither for someone else. That's just my.
Another thing to Renee statement before, just FYI, there is a wall downstairs in that museum right now with a TV on it.
I
And it's a
think so,
jazz,
yeah.
it's a jazz wall, that belongs to us. We donated that for use 11 years ago. And we did have a video of Bay St.
thought
Louis
so.
playing on this thing, but it's been turned off many years. But if you look at that back wall, we've maintained that wall. All those jazz print paintings are ours.
Okay.
And we purchased the TV, it just needs to be put back on. May I
Mhm.
make one other suggestion in kind to you,
Mhm.
y'all? Listen, I think y'all know my passion for that building, I'm sorry, but it is a passion, I love that building. But you're sitting on a building that is an icon, y'all coming up with ways to do this, and I, being in your position for this part-time employee. You have Miss Susan, who's been there 25 years and 6 days in that building. As opposed to 25 years and 6 days. We have Miss Debbie. They work 12 hours, 14 hours a week, gentlemen, ladies. They make $11 an hour. That's why we went to Mr. Carter. The tourism board is looking for someone to come. You got all assets in there. As a council, hire Susan and Debbie. Put her part-time, like Miss Black and like other people you have built in. These ladies don't want benefits. They don't want retirement. They don't want anything. They want to be in that building. That's why Mr. Smith came up and did it. I urge y'all at your next meeting, hire these two ladies. Let them open the door and let them have joy in Mudville. This is their life. There's your answer. You ask the tourism board to let y'all use what's in there already. You don't have to change a thing. It's decorated beautifully. And then you let these ladies open these doors 6 days a week and you pay them $11 an hour. My God, you can't get that any cheaper. That's what SMPD is gonna pay. So instead of going to SMPD, just hire these two ladies, put them on the salary. Y'all got the capability. Tourism hosted, $11 an hour. It's simple. Seriously, these ladies it would fall over to get back to work.
Yeah, something to consider.
All right, and any other comment or questions? And I guess,
I'm good.
obviously it's recorded, but I'll get a recap kind of put together to make sure we're all on the same page, and there's a lot said tonight. So make sure we're all on the same page, and then we'll take the next steps. If you could work on getting that to us, because we really can't move forward until we get that, but, yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, we'll still do it, but I mean, as far as sit down negotiation. Alright. Well, we'll go ahead and adjourn our city council, October 13th, city council workshop. Meeting adjourned.